Hello and welcome back to another Laker post game. We are back live. We're going to cover the Lakers versus the Trailblazers. We are waiting on the Lakers to address the media in just a second. First, let's talk about this game. The Lakers lose another game 101 to 106 to the Portland Trailblazers. This game coming in was a very, very key game as the Lakers could have clinched the tiebreaker with the Portland Trailblazers and controlled their playoff destiny from here on out. With the Lakers losing this game, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a kind of a cloud over the team. And I want to be able to put this in more perspective once I can hear some of the players and some of the coaches and see what their outlooks are. Then I can kind of go over what I feel like the Lakers are going to need to do moving forward. The Mavericks won tonight, so they're going to probably secure the fifth seed. With the Lakers losing tonight, they lose the tiebreaker with Portland. So if it gets to a situation, we're definitely going to probably play in that playing game. But let's try to see if we can add the Lakers to the stream. It's a little early, so it might not have anybody up yet. All right, while we wait, we're going to look at a few stats from the right off the bat. Let's talk about the turnovers. 14 turnovers for the game for the whole team. We're going to start with Kyle Kuzma and his stat line. With over 33 minutes on the floor, Kyle Kuzma was 2 of 11 from the field, 4 points. He had 3 turnovers. It's not going to get it done. Anthony Davis broke out and had a monster game, shooting over 50% of his shots are going in. So he's 12 of 23. Got the 3-ball working for him a little bit. He hit 2 out of 3. That'll work. Grabbed 12 boards. Finished with 36 points. Seemed like he's the only one that showed up to play today. When we go to Andre Drummond, the big buyout signee, 21 minutes on the floor, 2 of 4 from the field, 8 boards, 4 points. Not going to get it done. 38 minutes on the floor for KCP. He had 17 points. That'll work. That'll help. Caruso, 34 minutes on the floor. He had 18 points. And it doesn't even matter what the rest, because it doesn't even make a lot of sense that we was only able to get 101 points. There's no production across the board. When AD scored, 36 points. I mean, you need contribution from all the guys that's on the floor. And I get that the injuries are racking up. I get that the Lakers are expected to win. And it's a lot that goes into, these types of situations. Just the turnovers alone, they turned the ball over more than Portland. Those are extra possessions that you could have used a score, but you gave the ball away to the other team. That's just not winning basketball. And at the end of the day, you play to win. You turn the ball over to the other team. It's kind of hard to get out of that. You're going to be on the short end of the stick at the end of the game. Going over to the Portland Trailblazers side, they got the victory today. Norman Powell, 38 minutes on the floor, he scored 19 points. You had Robert Covington that didn't really produce a lot of points, but he was active on the boards. He had 8 rebounds. You had Yusuf Nurkic. He had 10 points. The backcourt, the big backcourt between C.J. McCollum and Dame Lillard. 21 points for C.J., 38 points for Dame. That'll work. Looks like we got somebody coming up to the podium, so let's go ahead and get started with that. AD.
Okay, Tanisha, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. You're ready when you're ready.
All right. Eddie, we're going to start off with Mike Trudell.
AD, this was a battle for you guys. Kind of hung in there all night despite that tough start. What did you make of the fourth quarter, and what did you think ended up being the difference down the stretch?
That's what mistakes. I mean, we competed, we fought. Toward the end, it was just some mental mistakes that beat us. Didn't have to foul. We didn't have to foul. That last one, the AEC fouled Dame, the 10-second difference. So they had to be down 3. They had to shoot the ball, rebound, one possession game. And then, the one we had to stop, the block on Nurkic, fast break. Maybe Cool could have got the 2, down 1. When we were down 3, got the layup in. We've been down 1. Especially when we were struggling, but I mean, good shooter. It was a tough play in between. A guy who shoots the shit off the ball. Didn't shoot it well tonight. Wide open look. It's a good shot, layup, probably the right play, but we didn't do it with him shooting the ball. It's tough, man. It's a tough loss for us. Position we're in, we wanted to get that one. We competed, we fought. I said just some plays down the stretch and throughout the game that kind of hurt us.
AD, it was your first time playing extended minutes up to 39. You had mentioned the other night getting up to 34 was a good thing for you as you get back to full speed. Obviously, your scoring was there tonight. How close are you starting to feel to being like yourself with the season, fast ending?
I feel good. Put me on the floor. I'm going to try to do as much as I can to help the same way. I feel like I'm getting my legs back under me, getting the rhythm. So I think the minutes might get back, extended. Then also some of that too, I technically didn't play last night, so I had a little bit more juice.
Kyle.
AD, there were some just weird plays in this game where Kyle had the offensive interference. I think with 4 minutes left, you had the dunk that somehow came out. I was just wondering what your reaction was to some of those plays where it looked like the ball was through and in, and it just didn't count.
Yeah, it happened a couple times. I mean, I had the jump hook that was down, came out, then a 3 that was down that came out. But I think the Kuz tip back was a legal play. I was coming out. I mean, the officials on the other side of the floor, so it was a tough call for him. But I think it was coming out on that left side, and he was made a great player for the tip in it. Then the dunk, I thought it was a foul, a lot of contact, but it still was down. And then I just seen it pop back out. So I don't know. It's a weird play. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. Those 2 plays didn't cost us the game, but it's 2 plays that we wish that we could have had for sure.
Dave.
Eddie, I know you told us last night that maybe this team could benefit from extra games. So if you play in the play-in, so be it. But are weird plays like that a reminder of what can happen if it comes down to one game? Like all the weird little things that could affect the outcome versus, over the course of a 7-game series, maybe those things would even out.
Well, I mean, plays like that happen in the game, and it can dictate the game for sure. But like I say, those plays didn't cost us the game. We had a lot of other plays throughout the course of the game that, we broke down on both ends of the floor. So, I mean, as for sure, those plays can cost us the game, but it's the other things that we can't control. The mental mistakes that we've done and the breakdown that we had on both ends of the floor that can really cost you the game.
All right, last 2 questions. Dan?
AD, I think kind of a 2-part question. I mean, you guys had the 8 turnovers in the first quarter and then played clean in the second and third. I think it was 6, maybe more in the fourth. What kind of changed there? And then what was the on-court communication like in that last minute when it came to fouling? Was that something that was talked about and just mistakes were made? Kind of take me through that.
We just try to protect the ball. Like we had 8 in the first quarter. And they got out to that lead, and when we were able to take care of the ball, we can get shots at the rim every time and get good looks. I know it was a tough play. I mean, obviously when you're in the heat of the moment, bench yelling "don't foul." There's just a lot going on, for a player, and sometimes you don't hear the "don't," you hear the foul, especially when you're down. Clock running. We just got to be smarter in those situations. Maybe we communicated on at the timeout or on a free throw line or something, or we just know it's on me. I got to let the players know. But it was a funky situation. We can do about it now, but learn from it. Tell the guys when we in those situations again how to handle it, and get right for the next time that that it happens if it happens. So. Like I said, it's a tough play. We would have for sure got another shot at the ball with if they missed the 1 possession game. But that shit happens in the course of the game. We see how to learn from it.
Last question, Nick Hamilton.
Hey, Anthony. You guys seem like you really found some momentum in the second quarter. What happened? What was talked about between the first and second quarters that got you guys going and kind of got you guys in that fighting stance?
Right. Stop turning the ball over. But, our thing was, we can't allow them to outplay us. We got to keep fighting, keep trying to basketball, keep playing together. And we were able to do that the next 3 quarters. Say Dame got some clean looks, but so we just keep battling. We battle hard tonight, compete us tonight. Like I said, it's a tough one, to swallow for sure, but we got to keep competing, and that's what we did all night. Just compete. Like I said, it was some play that we wish we could have got back, but we watched film, we learned from it, and figure it out.
Thanks, AD.
Very tough loss tonight. I mean, just listening to AD, I mean, it seemed like, that kind of let the wind out of the sails that kind of deflates the team. When you see, the ball go in and then it pops out, that's just how the season's just been going. And, thinking about the comment about the play-in and how games could be decided, and you got 1 game for your playoff life, play a play-in game, versus, like the comment was made about having a 7-game series and having it balance out. It'll be tough, very tough situation if the Lakers are faced with just 1 game for your playoff life. 1 game can dictate a lot. And 1 bad play, 1 turnover can dictate the game. I Coach Vogel up.
Okay, Tanisha, we're ready when you're ready.
Okay. Mike Trudell?
Greg, I wanted to start asking you about Anthony Davis. Minutes extended, offensively looked like his best rhythm. How much like the Anthony Davis that you're going to need do you think that he's getting to at this point?
Yeah, this is his best game since he's returned for sure. He's getting a little bit stronger each game. It's a very encouraging sign. I still think he has, still ways to go until he's, back to, really having his rhythm and timing the legs under him. But, he had a terrific performance tonight. Just as a group, he fell short.
Yeah, what's your evaluation of this game within the context of everything, the tiebreaker now going their way, the way that you played? What's the takeaway for you?
We can't worry about that. We're just competing to win as many games as we can, and wherever we land, we're confident. Obviously we want to finish in the top 6. We still have 5 games to make up some ground if that's possible, and we'll continue to try to win as many of those games as we can. But we're in an adjustment phase like we've been in all year. We don't have either of our 2 primary quarterbacks, and even not Talon. So the odds are stacked against us in a situation like this, and very proud of how our guys competed and had an opportunity to pull off a very difficult win. So proud of that. If we compete like we did tonight, against Phoenix, I feel confident we're going to win that game, and that's all we can control.
Dave?
Frank, Caruso scored a bucket, I think it was about 37 seconds to go to cut it to 3. And then about 7 seconds ticked off the clock before Ben fouled CJ. What was the ideal coverage in that scenario? Is that what you wanted to do, or how would you would have played it out?
We just want to play it out. We don't want to take a foul there. Play it out, try to get a stop, and give ourselves a chance to win it with the ball on the last possession.
So, to your knowledge, was Ben trying to foul him, or he was just trying to swipe for the ball and they called a foul?
Gotta look at the tape.
Okay.
Dan?
Frank, yeah, even before that, I think there was a KCP foul as well in the backcourt in a situation too, where again they went to the line in that final minute. How tough is it? I mean, you guys haven't been in a ton of these situations. You're doing it with a team that hasn't been together a lot. Does something like that show up in the final minute, you think, tonight? Kind of, maybe it's like continuity, maybe it's like communication, whatever it might be?
No, all that stuff's relevant. You'll make those plays. You're not going to stretch to win games. You're going to win close games. So, we didn't in that situation. We'll learn from it and we'll get better.
Last question, Kyle.
Hey, Frank, you've played Ben a lot since he's come to town. Does maybe some of the defensive sequences and especially that last foul kind of illustrate maybe sort of just the gap he has to make up in order to be a playoff rotation guy to you?
We'll see. I'm very confident in what he brings to the table. He's either making shots or bringing the defense with him because he carries that threat. He brings that gravity to the floor, and we're confident in what he brings to our team.
We have a follow-up from Dan, and that will be the last question, Coach.
Thanks, Frank. What went into the decision to go Mark instead of Montrez tonight? Was it Portland size? And then kind of secondly, what does Andre have to do to kind of find his rhythm? I know that's been a struggle for him and obviously a struggle tonight.
Yeah, he's got to, just continue each game. The more he gets out there, the more he's going to, learn what we're asking him to do, learn our defensive scheme, our offensive system, learn his teammates, and, hopefully he's growing a little bit more each game. With Mark, I just against Dame Lillard and 2 really big centers. And, I just wanted to use Mark's defense also without a primary playmaker offensively. There's 2 ways to go. You can play through Trez a lot, rolling to the basket. Mark sort of energizes the whole group with his passing. So, impossible decisions, would have been, the right choice here. We decided to go with Mark, and he played great.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, so that was Coach Vogel. I did post a link. If anyone wants to come up and talk about the game for a little bit, I'll give you at least about a couple minutes to kind of speak about the game, and then we would allow someone else to come up to speak about some of the things that they saw in this game, some of the things they would like to see in the game, and the outlook on playing Phoenix on the next game. Just a tough loss. It just goes back, to what I was saying, the whole entire time. I've never really seen the Lakers in a while be in this type of situation like this. And going back to when I kind of referenced in the pregame about the drought that they had for like the 9 years where they weren't making the playoffs and things like that. The biggest thing that kind of put everything in perspective is that I knew that the Lakers was going to figure it out. This Lakers organization is a storied franchise. Everyone expect the Lakers to compete, even when they weren't competing. It's just the fact that they had the big market, they had the titles, and they had the potential to every year to figure it out. And I knew that if I just held on, this team would figure it out, long as it was. And I have to hang my hat on that. I have to be able to believe that this team will figure it out. I have to be able to believe that once they get into the playoffs, then it's going to be different. I can't get into all the different naysayers and how the games are going and things like that. I can't get into that. What's going on, man? I see you out there. Not this year. I know that you. The last time we had talked, you was talking about the Clippers. I mean, they looked good last night. It's just too much, too much injuries. It's too many things that are going wrong, and right now, Clippers fans are really, juiced up about the win. Rightfully so. Got the win. They had the big win early on in the season as well. So I do tip my hat off to the Clippers and how they were able to, get those wins and what they've been doing this year. I'm not a hater or anything like that. I love how the NBA is going. I love how teams are loading up and, teams are getting better. It's getting a lot more competitive. And, I'm not panicking about anything. I think the Lakers' chances are going to be very slim to repeat, but I don't think it's unlikely. Little brothers about to become big brothers finally. Okay. That's funny. So right now, if you're just tuning in, we're covering the Lakers versus the Portland Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers defeats the Lakers 106-101 to control the tiebreaker. And I want to talk about last year when they played this team. This team was a little different than this current team, just like the Lakers. They had the addition of Robert Covington and Norman Powell. They also got Enes Kanter, in this offseason and things like that. Derrick Jones, who didn't play. And they looked good tonight. They was a scrappy team. They battled. Damian Lillard was doing Damian Lillard things, 38 points. 5 of 9 from 3, 12 of 18. This is what your superstar does. He's a supermax player. So, just we couldn't overcome, some of the things. They battled good. I think the Lakers don't need to hang their heads down this game because I think that they had good production, but they just couldn't get it done. There's a few players that are really, really, 33 minutes, Kyle Kuzma mustered up 4 points. 4 points in 33 minutes. And then you go down and look at more of the stat. He grabbed 5 rebounds in 33 minutes. 1 assist. Turned the ball over 3 times. The analytics say that Kyle Kuzma didn't produce a lot, but he was +3. +3. Or 6 from 3. How many of those 3-point attempts we could have possibly got a little bit closer to the basket or got a better look? And then you go down to Andre Drummond. He had 3 turnovers, 4 points, 8 rebounds in 21 minutes. You look at the other big, Marc Gasol, which was kind of a head scratcher. They didn't play Montrez at all today. In 22 minutes, Marc Gasol had 6 points. AD didn't get a lot of help today. That's what it boiled down to. It was great to see AD play, over 34 minutes. He played 39. I think this is the best game he's had since he's been back. That's a good question. Just by talking about how Kuzma was shooting, he had 6 attempts, 6 cracks at the 3-point, and he didn't hit one of them. So when you closing a game, you're trying to win. The money's pushed across the table, and it's all or nothing. Why settle for a 3 and you haven't hit one all game? The Caruso foul at the end was a head scratcher. You have to be mentally engaged when you're playing for something. I think mentally this team, physically this team is worn out. I think once the playoffs does start, and I'm hoping that they get a much needed just reset everything. Take it one game at a time and know that a healthy LeBron is what the doctor ordered. This team needs a healthy LeBron. And I feel like once LeBron is back, he's healthy, get all the other guys back and healthy, really think that this team has a great chance to have a great playoff run. I most definitely agree with that. With the short turnaround, back, and I think it was like 72 days in between the title and the opening night. That's just not a lot of time to be able to process that I just won the NBA title. Enjoying yourself, doing whatever you want to do after you won the title because of all that time that they had in the bubble. I mean, and then have to go back to work and do it all over again. That's tough. It's really tough. And these guys should be commended for that. It's just really tough to pull off what those guys were able to pull off in a short period of time. You had other teams that didn't even go to the bubble, and they really didn't feel the pain of having to start a season after having a long playoff run. And the Lakers got the real short end of the stick when it came to that. All right, to reset, if you're just tuning in, this is the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, and we are live at the podium waiting on the Lakers to address the media. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can get all the notifications when I drop a Lakers live pregame or postgame. I also cover Mavs as well as Spurs as well. So if you're new to the channel, you're here for the first time, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can get all the content as soon as it drops. You don't want to be behind on this because it's a lot of different things we got coming up on the channel when it comes to covering sports. You know, the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast has a lot of things coming up in the future, so you don't want to miss any content. Currently, we are waiting on another Laker player to address the media after Coach Vogel comes on. We just had AD. We just had Coach Vogel, so we're waiting and seeing who we're going to get on next. A lot of the times after games, guys are still getting, ready to address, so we don't really know when or who is going to be up there. We don't have a schedule or anything like that. I did have a question for Coach Vogel, but they didn't get a chance to get to the question that I had prepared. So we'll just wait and see if we can get the next Laker player that's up, so we can put this game into more of a perspective from everybody's point of view. Kind of get everybody's view on the loss and the outlook on the remaining 5 games. Be great to see LeBron come back the next game so that we can start getting this thing together. And it's just tough. Like tonight was really, really tough to watch. And it's really, difficult to kind of put it in, perspective the way things are going right now and how everyone is feeling. People are, panicking. Emotions are really high. Oh my God, the Lakers are not winning basketball games. The world is going to end. But it's not like that. Just it's a process. It's going to be tough, but I have no doubt in my mind that the Lakers are going to be able to get this thing done. But it's going to be difficult. But I do have an announcement to make about this. Like, if you're a Laker fan and you're down on the Lakers right now, I don't want to hear anything later on when they start making some noise in the playoffs and get to the finals and win. Like y'all panicking now. Like this team is highly capable of getting hot just like any other team. If they don't win, it's still gonna be my team. They win, I stuck with them. But I feel like they will make some noise in the playoffs and kind of silence all the critics and the doubters. We are still waiting on the next Laker player to address the media. If you have any questions as it relates to this basketball game or any questions in general, go ahead and put those in the chat. There is, because NBA skits, there is a lot of ifs. because it's not certain. It's not. You can't quite put a finger on it. It's kind of hard to predict. But mine is just pure off instinct and gut that the Lakers can get this done. But I do think that we have the personnel to get it done. But there's a lot of different factors. A lot of different things are going to have to happen for this team to repeat the title. And right now, losing these games is not helping. It's just like if you've climbed Mount Everest, and you've gotten up there, you climbed it, and then it's always harder to do it again. You do it the first time purely off adrenaline. Once you try to do it again, you start looking at the top of the mountain. You're like, man, I don't remember it being this far up. And it's always harder to do something again. Not impossible, just more difficult. The degree of difficulty is intensified the second time around. The injuries is a great equalizer. Like, it's really tough when you have a team that's good and they're battling injuries. I mean, any team, it can happen to any team. You look at some of the teams that were really, really good and they started off great, but then injuries start piling up and then they started falling a little bit in the standings. It happens. When you have key guys out, and you have to depend on other guys that their numbers are hardly called on, but they're playing heavy minutes. COVID, dealing with that, the health and safety protocol with the NBA implemented, which seemed like it changes frequently. Like last year it was different. This year it was different. And then listening to some of the players, the testing, they're like testing like 3 times a day, which is weird. I couldn't imagine having to test and things like that, that frequent, getting your temperature checked and things like that. I'm not sure everything that they have to go through, but it's like it's really a lot just to play. And I understand it. You want to be as cautious as possible, dealing with an organized sports like basketball and even football. I was wondering how that was going to look like, in the NFL. Just as a average person, it's kind of hard to think about how often they have to get tested and things like that. If you are new to the channel, let me know where you're from. Let me know what you think about this game. Let me know if you are a Laker fan, and if not, who is your favorite team? And if it's not the Lakers, why? Why are you rooting for anybody but the NBA champs? We are live at the Lakers post-game media presser. And we are waiting for the next Laker player to address the media. So far, we've only had AD and Coach Vogel up. Different errors. NBA Skits had a comment about Jordan and LeBron that reads, "That's why Jordan," and then LeBron because he three-peated twice. Meaning that he had the sign of the greater than LeBron. You have different errors. You didn't really have the player movement, like I talked about the last time that you was on the stream. You don't have the player movement, like LeBron's era does. It's just completely different era. Now, what Michael Jordan was able to do was remarkable, and Michael Jordan was the greatest player of his era. But there's been like players that came through the NBA that are really good, but LeBron, Kobe, those guys were great in their era. I don't like really comparing them like that. I used to, compare them a lot, but I don't do that anymore because it's just too many different factors, and we're never gonna like legitimately find out who was better. You can try to base it off of accolades and accomplishments and things like that, but it's not a fair assessment. We would never know. So it's really, really safe and easy to say that that player was great in their era. They did what their era allowed for them to do. But a lot of people have their opinion. That's the reason why we have sports. That's the beauty of sports, that we can debate it and we can talk about it. Gives us a lot of stuff to talk about. If you are new to the channel, make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter. Out of Bounds SPO1 is my Twitter handle. Make sure you go ahead and hit the follow on that as well. Let's connect. We're doing a lot of big things at the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, and we are looking to expand on doing more things. I want to have more of the fans involved. If you're new to the channel, you're here for your first time, let me know where you're from. Who's your team? NBA skits. Is it still Lakers in 5, or are the Lakers jumping off the ship while they can? I believe the Lakers are still. I think you won't go wrong saying they're the favorites to win the title. I would say it's easy for you to kick a team while they're down. Like that's easy, but I just feel like laugh now, cry later, because the Lakers are gonna make some big noise in the playoffs. That's my personal opinion. I just don't see the Lakers letting this go down like this. Definitely gonna be okay, I believe. Nets. And the Nets just lost to the Mavericks. I mean, I wouldn't talk about the Nets too fast just yet. They've been losing some stinkers lately as well. When is James Harden coming back? I'm not sold on the Nets. I'm not sold on the Nets. They don't play a whole lot of defense. They score the basketball pretty well, and they're very efficient. Just like the Clippers. I think it's a record that's at stake between the Clippers and the Nets of their offensive efficiency. It's an offensive efficiency record that I think each team is kind of like inching towards because of how efficient they are with scoring and things like that. But I'm not really. The link is in the chat. I do have a link in the chat if anyone wants to come up. See Big Baby asking for the link. The link's in the chat. If you just go up a little bit, the link's up there. Lakers 101 to 106. We are joined by Big Baby from the Big Baby Sports Podcast. Longtime Laker fan. He's going to give us great perspective on this game. Big Baby,
What's going on?
floor
How's
is
it going?
yours.
I like the competitiveness down the stretch, or overall game. I like the competitiveness, the hustle, the tenacity, but just that fourth quarter, 6 turnovers, and that couple possessions. I saw, to me, in my personal opinion, lack of communication down the stretch as a team.
Lakers turned the basketball over 14 times as a team.
Yes.
We had AD. He had 3 turnovers. Kyle Kuzma had 3 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
KCP turned the ball over. Caruso had a key turnover in the fourth. He had a foul. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. That Frank Vogel and the coach should have been like, no fouls, or somebody on the team should be like, no fouls. Let's play it straight up. You know what I mean? Because if they would play it straight up, we got to stop. AD could have hit a 3 on the other end because AD was dominant tonight. I liked his game, but it's unfortunate. The 5 missed free throws for AD though too in the game. It's just like, and a couple possession too. We had rhythm, rimmed in and out too. There's timely missed opportunities, for this team. It's unfortunate. We got to take one on the chin and bounce back Sunday. But I don't know. I saw on Twitter, correct me if I'm wrong, saying that AD or Frank Vogel said LeBron's a possibility to play on Sunday.
Yeah, there is a possibility that LeBron is going to play on Sunday. I did also see that Dave McMenamin had tweeted out that LeBron wasn't out because of an injury.
He was out because of an injury?
He wasn't out because of injury. It wasn't a medical reason. It wasn't a medical it wasn't a medical factor as the reason why he wasn't playing.
Maybe it's a personal behind the scenes thing,
Could possibly be. But we would never know. They don't really release a whole lot of information. Very vague on.
They used to back up in the day with when we had Jim Buss and Mitch Kupchak.
Yeah, but that's you want to go back to losing basketball.
No. Well, I got a question for you. Why are Laker fans on Twitter saying that whole Viviana thing, the little catfish thing, are saying that that's the reason why the Lakers are losing? That does nothing. Like, I don't understand why Laker fans are blaming that. Oh, it's because of that whole catfish thing. I
don't get hung up on stuff like that. I mean, I look at everything between the 4 lines. I don't really look at anything that I'm not a superstitious person like that. And I don't get caught up in those things, especially when they're talking about it through Twitter. It's like, I don't get caught up in that kind of stuff. I look at the game. I look at the way things are going as far as the seedings and stuff like that. I don't get caught up on superstition.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna read you a stat real quick. How do you think the Drummond experience is going? Do you think you don't like the Drummond? Okay, I'm gonna read you a stat. Lakers without Drummond, 32-19. With him, 5-11.
I'm gonna give you my whole rundown about Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond caught my attention in Cleveland. He never caught my attention in Detroit. He was in there, I think, Detroit for the first 8 years of his career, I believe. And I knew that he was a rebound machine. Scoring wise, it was always iffy. But what concerned me the most and what I see now was his motor. His motor was always an issue for me. He's gotten to the playoffs before, but their first round exits. And that's with him as the sole star of the team. It caught my attention in Cleveland what he was doing, scoring the basketball, 20 plus points and 20 plus rebounds. And when I knew that the Cavaliers were actively shopping him, I was like, man, that'd be good. But then I started thinking about it. As bad as Cleveland is, why would they let him go? Really think about that. Like, if he was, legit, why'd they go get Jared Allen? Why did they need to go get Jared Allen if they had him? They bought him out. They felt like Jared Allen in that moment provided the best opportunity for them. And why? They see things. Organizations don't really do things like that. They're not going to do anything that's going to help. Why would they let the defending champions have a crack at him? And the rumors were that he was going to sign, that he was trying to get bought out because of the Lakers. That was the rumors. Everyone knew. It didn't, like there wasn't a secret. Everyone knew that he was trying to get to the Lakers. But like, if say for instance, I'm gonna give you a scenario. If I had an item, just say for instance that I have it, I really don't want it, and you say, "Hey man, what are you doing with that?" Like right now, I mean, nothing. It's just sitting on my table. If you want it, you can have it. I don't really mind it. Think of it in that context. Like if I had something that you wanted and I just gave it to you, didn't charge you for it or nothing. Because you wanted it, I gave it to you.
Okay.
Because I didn't really see the value in it anymore. But you've seen that it could have been, great in value.
Yeah, that's true. Because I had my brother had like an iPhone 7. He went to the iPhone 10. I was like, man, I want the iPhone 7. Just gave it to me for free, and then started having problems with it. I'm like, should never got that iPhone. So I understand what you're saying. So at the end of the day, I feel like that Drummond is not working. Clogs the paint too much.
He clogs the paint a lot. He doesn't move. He's very glacial when it comes to, movement and things like that. And with LeBron, that's not going to work because those passing lanes, those driver lanes need to be open for him to be able to operate and do what he needs to do. That's why it kind of looked a little weird whenever you've seen him on the floor. It flows a little bit better with Gasol, but Gasol is inconsistent, very inconsistent.
And like I'm gonna keep 100, Corey. Corey, I already know where we're going. If I was Lakers, I'm scouting. Like if we don't make the playoffs, let's say if we play in pinch and get bounced out, my main focus: better perimeter defenders and better jump shooters for next year. That's I see a lot of times is just we just have those scoring droughts, man. It's like, come on. And even when AD gets out, we have the lineup in that fourth quarter I didn't like, and before AD came back in. Marc Gasol, I think Wesley Matthews, Ben McLemore, and I forgot the other person that was out there.
Right. We're going to take a very, very quick commercial break. Support for the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast is brought to you by All right, and we're back. So going to the chat, back to the chat, I have a new favorite. YouTuber, NBA skits.
Mm-hmm.
He's very consistent on commenting. I think he's a Clipper fan, if I'm not mistaken. Seems like he thinks the Clippers are gonna win it all. But he says that he saw Andre play live and he's an empty stat stuffer. Oh look, AC Fresh. Let's get it. Let's see what we got.
Small screen.
It is a small screen, so. And Tanisha's on the other end.
Are you guys ready? Hey, AC. We're going to start off with Mike Trudell, AC.
Hey, Alex. First, just health-wise, Frank had said before the game that he wasn't. They weren't sure how the foot was going to respond after the contusion you had yesterday. Just wondered in playing a high in minutes for you, what it felt like, and if you think that's going to be an issue at all moving forward.
Yeah, I think it was mostly just losing my right foot. It was pretty painful after the Clippers game, and then traveling last night. It got a little better overnight. It was just some rest and some treatment. And then today it was still pretty sore, but I was kind of hoping on, adrenaline to carry me through a little bit through the game, which I think it did. There was times where it popped up. It was a little more sore than others, but, I made it through.
You guys had battled to play in that game, Alex. You'd done some more scoring. It seemed like you were more aggressive on offense. But what did you think the difference was in the fourth quarter? And there were a lot of kind of tight plays that could have gone either way, it seemed like.
Yeah, just a couple plays short. It's tough because I think we played well enough and played hard enough to win. Give credit to Portland. They're a good team. They're playing hard. They had fans in here for the first night, so there was some good energy. It felt like playoff intensity out there, coming down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Dame hitting big shots, us making big plays. AD looked like himself making defensive plays that we're used to seeing him make. So, all in all, a great basketball game for the third-party viewer. But, obviously for us, wish we could have made one or two more plays.
Let's go, Dan.
Alex, as a group, you guys are relatively still new to one another, which is a crazy thing to say, 60-plus games into this season. Is this a valuable experience to go through something like this where, there's some mistakes made in the last minute in terms of fouling, some different things like that? Obviously, you would trade it, the experience for the victory, but is there value in something like this, especially this close to the playoffs?
Yeah, saying no. There's no moral victory here. We're trying to get better as a team. That's something that Frank has talked about and something we've talked about as a team. But we play the game to win. We don't show up in the game and say, all right, let's play hard tonight. And if we lose, it's okay. Our team was a little gutted after this because we felt like I said, we played hard enough, played well enough for most of the night to to compete and win on the road against a playoff team. So, we take everything into the big picture, and obviously missing a couple guys, but I think we have enough to win games, like I said after last game. So for us, it's just about continuing to build, but we got to compete, keep trying to win games.
Dave.
Alex, a lot of you guys were on the team that won the championship last year, and just about every one of you guys was on the team this year that was 15 games under 500. What's the feeling being in the play-in with 5 games left to go in the regular season?
I don't know. I don't know if I really have an answer for it. I don't know if there's a negative answer or a positive answer looking forward. I'm really just focused on the next game. At this point, fairly confident we'll be in some type of playoffs, whatever it is. Hopefully we don't have to play in the plan because we win a couple of these games on the stretch, and that's the goal and that's the plan. But and I'm confident. Like I said this after last game too. Like I'm naive in the fact that I think I can win any game that we play in. And I thought we could have won tonight. Thought we should have won tonight. Made a couple of errors throughout the game that, like we said, we got to be better if we're going to win in the playoffs. But I don't know if I really have an opinion on playing game versus not playing game.
Kyle.
Alex, I know you guys pride yourself on how you defend, and especially how you've defended this team in particular over the last couple seasons. That final minute, what was your interpretation of the breakdowns there that allowed them to get to the line? And are you surprised that, with your guys' level of experience going against the Blazers, that those mistakes happened?
Yeah, I mean, as far as my mistake goes, just found when we had the clock, pretty disappointed in myself, just being blatantly honest. Being a point guard, being one of the more vocal guys, one of the higher IQ guys on the team right now, with a couple of our leaders missing, our point guards missing. So I was pretty disappointed in myself, just in that part of the game, just because we had battled so hard, being down 10 with about 3-4 minutes to go to get back in the one possession game. That's tough to deal with after the game we played and the effort we put into it. As far as the other stuff, it's just, we gotta be better closing games. A lot of that, I think we've maybe leaned on LeBron late in games because he's usually our voice and our leader. So, it was a good experience for us to try and not try, but good experience for us to get it done, because that's kind of what I expect to do.
Last question, Bill.
Alex, I wanted to go back to what you said about this team being headed after this. Is that in part because of the stakes and the play-in? Is it the accumulation of these last 2 months? Where's kind of that that feeling kind of what's that feeling kind of based on, do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not overreacting when I say gutted. Like, we're just disappointed. Maybe that's a better word for it. Gutted makes it sound like all hope is lost and like we just missed the playoffs because we lost this game to Portland. We're just disappointed. We played a win, played hard. Like I said multiple times now, I think we played hard enough, and I think we competed well enough and executed for stretches that we had a chance to win, and we didn't win. So, that's always a little disappointing. And like you said, everybody knows the stakes. Everybody knows what this game was standing wise, and how it would have been a great win for us to stay in 6 and whatever. But we're just a competitive bunch. That's why we won a championship last year, is because we're competitive, and nothing's changed this year. Just because we got guys out, and just because we are deeper in the standings than we were last year.
Thanks, AC.
All right. That was Alex Caruso. I didn't get a chance to ask him a question, but we are still live, so they didn't end the stream, so that means another player could potentially be up. So we're gonna wait a little bit for that. So we have another question. What's the problem? Losing confidence. There's no problem. There is no loss of confidence. The Lakers are still the defending NBA champions. No one that the Lakers has played in 2021 has taken that away from them yet. As it stands, the Lakers are still the reigning NBA champions. Until that has been taken away, then there is no loss of confidence. There is no problem, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. All these games, these regular season games, as long as the Lakers are in the playoffs, and as long as the Lakers have Anthony Davis and LeBron James on that roster, I have full confidence in this group and the coaching staff. Just a bump in the road. What are your thoughts?
Man, I did hit you up on Facebook and said I'm worried. And then yeah.
Team is fine.
Yeah, you hit me back with some stuff, and that actually made me relax and not be worried as much anymore. It's a Kuzma.
All right, let's see what we got. Hopefully we can get a question in real quick. Hopefully.
Is he all right?
Oh no. Let's see.
All right, Tanisha.
All right. Hey, Kuz, we're going to start off with Mike Trudell.
Hey, Kuz, just first wanted to ask you physically. It looked like you took a couple of knocks tonight. Is there how you feeling physically? How'd you come through this back to back?
Yeah, I took a few, but how it goes.
All right. What do you think that as things got tight down the stretch, what did you think the difference was in how Portland pulled through, and what were the things you guys think you could take away from that?
I think we did a good job of competing tonight. I think that was the number one thing that we did that wasn't available in the Clippers game. I think they did a great job of just, continually to beat the double teams that we have game, and whether that was him hitting your 5 men on the roll, or just making the go ahead pass, swing to the corner, those type of things. They did a great job with countering that what we were trying to do defensively. So.
Because tonight your shot wasn't falling. Last night it was. Is there anything that you noticed about the rhythm tonight and how that wasn't coming?
No, I got good shots. They just didn't fall. It's in this league. I'm still confident. And, didn't fall tonight. So.
Dave.
Kuz, the putback dunk you had that was ruled offensive basket interference, and then Dame hits the 3 right afterwards. Could have been a 2-point game, ended up being a 7-point game. Can you just talk to me about your emotions of that sequence, and if there's any feeling of what if had been ruled a dunk, how the game could have played out?
Just the heat of the moment, hectic environment. The ref just made a decision of what he kind of saw in that moment. I definitely thought that it was definitely off the rim, but the ref didn't, and called it how he called it. And, that's just kind of what it was. Can't argue with it now. I can't argue it in the moment. Once a ref calls something, that's usually what it is. So whether it's right or wrong, the refs are the law of basketball. So.
Yeah.
Because you guys are in 7th now, that means the plan's a very real possibility. What's sort of your thought about that, and just in a general sense, and then kind of, if you guys are the 7, I mean, that would be you'd have 2 chances at Staples Center to advance in the playoffs. What do you think that kind of matchup would mean for a 1 seed or a 2 seed?
Well, I mean, those are just the cards we're dealt. We've dealt with a lot this year, a lot of unfortunate things, and with those things happening, the players on the court, we haven't got enough wins. So, this is the predicament that we're in right now. Whether that's still trying to fight for that 6 or being in the play-in, we just got to just keep in mind, it's all about trying to get healthy and compete right now. Trying to win games every time we're out there, and if the chips fall where they fall, and we're in the play-ins, and we have to play a number 1 or 2 seed. Then let's see how it goes. See how it goes.
Last question, Kyle.
Hey, Kuz, I know you guys are here to just win, and that's the goal every time. But in talking about maybe potential silver linings, I mean, this is the best game that AD has played since he got back for you guys. Is this sort of what the kind of Anthony Davis that you expect to see as you get into these critical games down the stretch here and into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's very important to spend this time getting him, back to playing like AD. I think tonight was probably one of his better games since he's been back. He's done a good job. Just being confident out there with his movements. I think that's the number one thing that we want to see out of him. Is, moving, getting to the rim offensively, but being a beast that he is defensively. We saw that a little bit today. He had a big block in the fourth quarter. That was huge, and looked like he was confident moving out there today, offensively and defensively. So I thought it was great for us, and it's going to continue to be developing for us. As we, as a team right now, shorthanded as we are, to figure out some chemistry and figure out ways to win right now.
All right. Thanks, Coos. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Safe travels home, Kyle.
Yeah, I got it. Oh.
Damn.
I'm not sure what was going on with him.
He looks like he's sore.
He looks sore. I don't like, man, it's crazy. Like, I mean, like, this team like doesn't look like they're like physically they look like they're just spent. Like, they just are going through the motions. Man, I just hope that they can pull it together. I think they'll be all right though. But
me too. But remember the year that we had Dwight, Steve Nash, Kobe, Meta, and all that. It's kind of had that same effect. Injuries and
yeah, they had a lot of injuries that year.
Mm-hmm.
But they won the title.
True. Yeah.
They beat Boston finally.
Yeah.
Are you saying when they had they didn't? Are you saying when they had Dwight? Oh no!
Steve Nash.
You talking about like 2013?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, they didn't win.
Yeah, but it still has that, like, the injury wise, it kind of has that same feel. With the injuries,
that's when Kobe popped his Achilles, I think.
Yeah, we just gotta go until we get knocked out. They just gotta keep fighting, just keep playing to the level until you get knocked out, until you get eliminated. Just point blank period, man. We gotta fight until the wheels fall off.
That was you remember? I think that game when Kobe had popped his, wasn't it against Utah?
No, it was against Golden State. Matt Barnes was guarding, not Matt Barnes, Harrison Barnes was guarding him.
Okay.
And he looked over and said, "Did you kick me?" He's like, "No." Once he said no. He knew it was Achilles. Shot 2 free throws, got carried off. And then that's when Stephen Curry almost hit that half-court shot to win the game. Almost win it, rimmed in and out.
That was a playoff game.
That was regular season. We're fighting for the playoffs to get in, and Kobe let us in. I think we won the next 2 or 3 games. We got in the playoff and got swept by San Antonio. That's when Dwight got ejected. He let Aaron Baines get in his head.
Yeah, Dwight wasn't mentally tough at that time.
Nah, but he's doing good things in Philly.
But, yeah, he's won a title, man. He's a champion now. That's your boy, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. I've been watching his highlights, his games when they're on ESPN, NBA, TNT, and all. He's been doing good this season. Love Dwight's game and wish he was a Laker, but it is what it is. But let me ask you this: if the Lakers brought everybody back, the veterans, do you think we would be where we are? Do you think we'll be number 1 seed? If we brought everybody back from Rondo to Dwight, JaVale, everybody, what was your thoughts if we would have brought everybody back to regroup for another championship? What would you think it would be right now?
Well, I mean, health is a factor. If you talk about a healthy team and injuries didn't happen, I would say that they were at least a top 3 team. That's what they were last year. At least a top 3 team. So, a lot of this, things are happening because you lose LeBron that for that long, you lose AD for a significant period of time. You have new guys that are trying to figure out, where guys are supposed to be and things like that. LeBron is the one that kind of puts all that together. Like, you can throw everything in, but LeBron is the one that pulls it together. Okay, let me pull you over here. Let me pull this together. He's the surgeon that pulls everything.
Hopefully he plays on Sunday, man. Meet him.
But we'll see. Well,
yeah.
I do.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on Sunday, man.
I appreciate you coming on the show. We're going to end the show on that note. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, you like, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get all the content that is dropping from the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. Also, we have another podcaster on, Big Baby, from Big Baby Sports Podcast. He's also doing a lot of things with Lakers and things like that. He's posting on his channel. He's on YouTube. I think he just had a great interview with Ben Gallagher from the Washington Post. Make sure you go and check that out. I did get a chance to check out that. I think you did a great job when it came to that as well. He had Mike Trudell on as well, Meta World Feast. So make sure that you check out his content. He's got great Laker content on there. I don't think you'll be disappointed when you go to his page. So, Big Baby, go ahead and shout out your socials.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on. Everybody go subscribe to my channel, Big Baby Sports Podcast. Follow me on Twitter, Big Baby Jonathan, Instagram, Big Baby Jonathan _ man. You know, I got great content, man, and road to 600 subscribers. You know, it's a journey, but I'm loving the journey. You know.
Congrats on getting 600. That's an amazing feat. Are you at 1,000 subscribers?
No. I'm at 500 right now, 513. But on Instagram, I got 2K followers on Instagram.
That's great. That's amazing.
Yeah, marathon continues on that.
I think so. How many subscribers you got on YouTube already?
Right now, 513.
Amazing. That's good.
Yeah, we got. I know you're in Texas and stuff. We got to schedule time for you to come on my show live. You know, we could do like maybe before the season's over, we can do a show on my end.
Yeah, let's try to plan something like before the season's over or like during the playoffs.
Yeah, most definitely. You know.
All right, man. So we are out for tonight. We're going to be back again live. Make sure you, again, like, subscribe, where you can get all your content for NBA. We're also doing a little bit WNBA. Keep a lookout for that. But with that being said, we're out.
If you love